The human brain abhors an information vacuum. Without data, we instinctively invent monsters and myths to fill the empty dark. Take the Mary Celeste, a ship found adrift, cargo intact, but not a single soul on board. With no witnesses to provide facts, we filled the silence with sea monsters. To early observers, the glowing surge at Jervis Bay wasn't a chemical reaction, it was magic. In Death Valley, heavy stones leave a dragging path across the desert flats. For decades, they appeared to move by their own volition, baffling observers. These stories represent the first stage of a mystery, the observation phase. But as we're about to see, observation is only the beginning. In this initial stage, anecdotes and cultural stigma dictate the narrative. Without a standardized way to measure what we're seeing, the truth remains obscured. We see this currently with modern military sightings of unidentified aerial phenomena. These incidents are caught in that same cycle of rumors and reputational risk. A 2021 preliminary assessment from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence highlighted this exact problem. Without unified sensor data and formal reporting, these objects simply cannot be accurately categorized. To move past the guessing, we have to look for patterns, and that requires a more rigorous set of tools. When a mystery is 4 centuries old, like the disappearance of the Roanoke colony, the investigation becomes a game of probabilities. How do you solve a case where the primary witnesses have been dead for 400 years? This map shows the geography of the Outer Banks, where over 100 settlers vanished in the late 1580s, leaving only the word Croatoan carved into wood. Anthropologist Lee Miller looks at the politics of the Elizabethan court. She argues the colony was sabotaged by the Secretary of State, Sir Francis Walsingham, who allegedly used a ship's captain to strand the settlers as a direct act of mutiny. Historian James Horn views it through a more practical lens, survival. He suggests the settlers, abandoned and starving, had little choice but to vacate Roanoke, moving inland to integrate with local tribes. Investigation in this stage isn't about finding a smoking gun. It's about cross-referencing geopolitical and source materials to determine which reality is the most likely. When historical records fail entirely, we turn to the hard laws of physics. Recent engineering analysis has been used to look past the supernatural myths of the Great Pyramid and evaluate what was actually required to build it. The constraints are massive: 2.3 million stone blocks, weighing millions of tons, all erected within a 20-year timeframe. The math reveals a staggering logistical demand. During daylight hours, the builders had to successfully place a single massive block every 2 to 3 minutes. This was achieved not through magic, but through modular workforce organization. By running parallel labor teams using hybrid ramps, counterweight pulleys, and wet sand sledges, the Egyptians were able to maintain that relentless material flow. The math proves that ancient humans weren't being helped by outsiders. They were brilliant engineers managing a complex, optimized production line. This brings us to the final stage, resolution. This is what happens when a mystery is finally exposed to hard comparative data. Take the Bermuda Triangle. For decades, it was defined by legends of space warps and inexplicable disappearances. This chart compares global shipwreck densities. By actually counting the wrecks and comparing them to shipping volume, researchers proved this region is no more dangerous than any other heavily traveled corner of the ocean. We saw the same collapse in Death Valley. Time-lapse cameras eventually captured the physical truth. The sailing stones were being pushed by ice sheets during a rare combination of wind and moisture. Data acts as a filter, allowing the unknown to finally settle into a definitive, observed reality. Of course, many mysteries remain in that earlier anecdotal stage. The Dyatlov Pass incident, or the strange, sickening noises reported by diplomats. Havana syndrome is a modern anomaly, currently being subjected to medical and intelligence scrutiny to determine its physical origin. Within our framework, these aren't permanent supernatural events. They are simply puzzles waiting for the right measurements to move them from stage 1 into resolution. Applying math and history to the unknown doesn't strip the world of its wonder. Seeing the biological mechanics behind a glowing ocean or the physics of rogue waves offers a weight ghost stories lack. The world is a complex puzzle, and our greatest strength is the relentless drive to solve it.